What's up, you guys? Welcome back to my channel. It's Sarah here. I haven't posted in 3 weeks, and that is because I actually am in Colorado until late August, early September. I'm staying with my family for a little bit, so I was getting in like the process of packing up my apartment. So I am in a different room. If you're wondering about the location, I'm in the guest bedroom. And yeah, it's been super fun. If you follow me on TikTok, I've been posting a lot of different TikTok content there. But today is the long-awaited story time you guys voted for on my Instagram, and that is the I became friends with my ex's side chick. This story took place a few years ago when I was with my ex-boyfriend, and him and I had actually just reconnected and we started becoming friends again and kind of maybe trying to get back into a new relationship, and we see how that turned out. But so we were trying to just hang out and stuff, and if you've watched my story time about She Was the Other Woman, I think it's called, I'll try to link it down in the subscription or the description. But I made a story time about a other girl prior to this. Now she and him don't talk anymore. I don't even know if they're friends anymore. He doesn't talk about her. She's gone. But now he's working at this new place and there's a new girl best friend. So I remember him and I were going to dinner and we were just doing our usual and we were hanging out, and all of a sudden he mentioned this girl, and we'll call her Kayla. And I said, you know, because I'm thinking in my head, oh yeah, here we go again, another girl that he's hiding from me. And I said, who's Kayla? And he's like, that's my best friend. And I remember I made this snarky comment and I was like, oh, another girl best friend, huh? So of course that made him angry because he wasn't being 100% honest with me about the situation. And all of a sudden we got into this little argument and I was like, look, I know what happened with the last one. You weren't honest. You hid her from me, like all yada, yada, yada. I just felt like there was going to be another one of these situations. And he was like, no, like you're just being crazy, like XYZ, you know how they call you crazy about everything. So weeks go on and he's always talking about her. She's always messaging him. And I actually one time read the messages. So I started reading these messages and he was actually talking about me to her. So I was actually pretty shocked by that. I was like, what the heck? Like, I figured this was just another like side chick type situation. But I was right to an extent. So she wasn't exactly a side chick, but he was like in his feelings one day. And we were at the mall and we were hanging out because we used to always go to the mall and just wander around because we didn't really have anything else to do. And I remember I said something snarky, and I'm sorry, I don't remember what it was, but he was like, yeah, well, I did have sex with Kayla. You were right. I did. And she was better than you. So of course, like any girl, I get pissed off and I start like cussing him out and I'm like, I can't believe this. Like, I knew it. And he continued to talk about her. And then this man would literally have me pick him up. And I would go to his work and I would see her, like, he just did not care. It's very obvious, because I would literally see her running around with her friends and all the other girls that had the hots for him. And I was just like, why are you doing this to me? Like, why? So then he left the job, he got a different job, and he never talked to her really again. Like, he would talk about her to me just to piss me off and like be like, oh yeah, Kayla was so good in bed, she was so nice, like Kayla's friends liked me too, like they wanted to date me and I hooked up with them too, like yada yada yada, just always rubbing things in my face, and it was so messed up. So because at the time I was super insecure, I would always like social media stalk this girl. Like, I always would go on her social media, and she was public obviously. And I would try to like compare myself, because when you're with a narcissistic kind of person, they always try to compare you to any female to try to get that like, I guess it's like not really validation, but they're trying to kind of like morph you into what they want in a sense. So he always would compare me to her, and it really hurt my ego. So I would always like stalk this girl's Instagram, and I was like, I want to be like her, like maybe he'll like me then, because this was the new like side piece kind of thing. And she wasn't really a side piece because I never dated, but we'll get into that. So a couple years ago, about 8 or 9 months prior to their friendship and not really being friends anymore, me and my friend go into this like bar type of setting, right? And I was only 20 at the time, but she wanted to grab a drink and she just wanted me to go with her because her and I were coworkers. So I walk in there and I look, and it kind of looks like Kayla, but I wasn't 100% sure because, you know, like you can look different on social media than in person. I had only seen like 2 pictures of this girl. So I was like, that kind of looks like Kayla, but I kind of, you know, blew it off. And I got nervous because I was like, what if it is her? And I remember when I walked in, she gave like a weird kind of like awkward look to me. And I was just like, oh my God, like she knows, like that must be her. Like I was so like scared and confused. So I sat down on the bar. I ordered, I think I actually did not get alcohol. I think I just got water. I'm not sure. But I think I ordered just water. My friend got her drink and we were hanging out and talking. And I remember there was like a really freaking creepy guy that was like, had a dog sitting outside in like the 90-degree freaking weather. It was terrible. And I remember she was really pissed off about it. Kayla was. And we were all talking about it. And then we started slowly bonding. So I complimented her lashes actually, which are Rain lashes, because we actually bonded over the fact that we both used Rain. And then we were talking about like where we lived and stuff and like, you know, where we were from and all that. And then it came that we actually lived in the same apartment complex. So I knew it was her then because I knew from my ex that, you know, she lived in the same apartment complex, but I wasn't, you know, too sure. I was like, this seems like the same girl just from a picture I've seen. But it definitely was. And she figured out who I was almost instantly as well and was like, do you know blah, blah, blah? And I was like, yeah, he's like living with me, like we're living together. And she was like, yeah, I've heard a lot about you. So I remember my friend was just sitting there like so uncomfortable, like just so uncomfortable watching us bond because she was afraid like, I don't know, like there was going to be a cat fight or something, even though Kayla's like super nice. But we just started bonding over that. And then she ended up telling me a whole bunch of like truthful like events that had happened that were actually lies that he tried to tell me. So we bonded over that. Her shift ended, we tabbed out, I went home, and then she actually added me on social media and I added her back and we didn't talk for a little bit. However, as soon as I got home, I went and told my ex that guess who I met? I met Kayla. And this man's face was like, really? And I was like, yeah, like I met Kayla today. She was really nice. Like she told me a lot about you guys and y'all's friendship. And, you know, you said good things about me and yada, yada, yada. Cause like he did, like she told me he never like bashed me, which is actually really nice considering how he treated me to my face. So immediately he stops talking to her. They didn't really talk much to begin with at that point, but they still kind of did cause we all lived near each other. But yeah, he stopped talking to her and her and I actually became closer. We started working out together. We started, you know, I got invited to her birthday, all this other stuff. I love her to death. She's amazing. And honestly, I would not trade her like friendship and my friendship for the world. Like if it wasn't for him, we probably never would have been friends. So I'm honestly really happy that, you know, the universe brought us two together because we're really friends and she's like my big sister. So if she's watching this, I love you. But yeah, so that's really how we became friends. She ended up telling me a lot of things like she would literally just be telling stories and I would be like, oh, like I remember that night and I was with him and this happened. That's what he said was happening. And she was like, no, like that didn't happen. Like I wasn't with him that night. And I was like, oh, okay. Like, so it was like things like that. And we actually just have a lot of fun and we have a lot of things in common. And she's always been there for me through everything. And it's been really, really nice actually. And it's just a really funny coincidence that we bonded over lashes and then the truth came out. So yeah, they're not really friends anymore. I remember like she would try to invite us all out together and he would not really come just because, you know, people do outgrow each other and stuff. But I don't know, maybe if there was more to that, it really could have just been they outgrew each other. And she was just being nice trying to invite him out, or he just didn't want to go because it's awkward. But yeah, I do have a couple other story times that are like similar to this. Another thing is I went to one restaurant that he worked at one time and with a whole bunch of my friends, and one of the girls that was like completely and utterly obsessed with him. Like this girl was freaking crazy. Apparently Kayla knew her and Kayla would tell me when we became friends that this woman, like she was way older than me. Like this woman was maybe in her like late 30s and at the time I was, you know, young. But she would get so angry if he would text me, and he was just like real chill about it, because I obviously, like, Kayla told me that, you know, he did care more about me, but it's still like a shitty situation because don't have two girls, you have one, but whatever, like, you can have her at this point. But this woman would get so jealous and so catty, and she was really catty with all the other girls that worked there. Like, grown-ass woman, like I said, like mid-30s, and she's acting like this. So when I went to this restaurant, I was under the impression that she no longer worked there anymore, because it had been like a long time, and I was with all my friends, and guess who is behind the freaking bar? The grown-ass woman that had it out for me. Now, however, I can't clarify she knew exactly who I was, but I remember she was like walking away from where we were sitting, and like my friends had no idea. I had to actually tell them, because I was like, one of them actually knew who she was, because, you know, she's been a ride or die. Love you, Brittany, if you're watching this. But I remember telling Brittany, and I was like, oh my god, that's that girl, that's that girl. And she was like, what, really? And then we kind of like just told, you know, the rest of the group like what was going on, just in case something happened. Nothing happened. However, she did really take a long freaking time to serve us, and it was not busy. We all think she knows who I was. Like, we think she's just trying to be polite because it's her job, but it was quite obvious she knew who I was, because she was like real utterly fake. And when I remember when I like smiled and was like taking a picture with my friends, I caught out of the corner of my eye, and I was like, really, girl, like, you don't have to do all that. Like, you were the crazy one in this situation, but whatever. And I'm like way younger than you. But that was a really awkward time. I do see her like when I would go to that place, but we tend to like go gravitate toward the other like waiter, bartender type of thing, because I don't have time for all that. We are too grown, we are healing. There is just no time for negativity and drama anymore. And if I tell story times and someone might get offended, I don't mean to offend anybody. This is all just pure heart, funny. Now, it's never to bash anybody. Like, if this girl wanted to be nice to me and she wanted to, like, her and I have actually had conversations in the bathroom when her and I happened to both be in there, but there is still like tension, obviously, but I feel like, you know, it's just one of those things. But Kayla and I, we are good. There's no tension. And yeah, my ex and her really aren't friends. They're cool, but they're not friends. You know, it's just one of those things. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this kind of chaotic story time. Let me know if you want to do any if you want to hear me do any other story times. I do polls on my Instagram if you want to follow me down below, and I also post a lot of content on TikTok. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and don't forget to subscribe.